Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of The Extra Yard. The last time you saw all three of us on a screen together was our free agency live show. That was a really good time, although we didn't spend too much time, just the three of us. It was kind of busy going in and out, and then the Dolphins didn't do much of anything in terms of big names. And even
until this week.
Yeah, it took the Dolphins a while to get going, but the last Extra Yard episode we had before that was, 2 weeks ago? I think we started on some free agency candidates. I don't think we got any names right. Like, straight up, I don't think we got a single name right. Juan, I know you were providing a bunch of names. We'll start with this. What's the biggest name that you think the Dolphins missed out on in free agency as Kai leaves us?
Sorry, I need to adjust my camera.
I don't think they really missed out on anybody specifically. I think they had a couple of players who were kind of on the wait and see. Kind of like Ted Karras, who ultimately just decided to go back to New England. There was a little flirtation with David Andrews. I don't think they were really after Juju or after any of these big time wide receivers like Kenny Golladay. It was more so a lot of the time interest gets reported, and it's more so hey, how much are you asking for? And then they're like, okay, we got a number. And then that's the interest that's reported. It's not really necessarily that the team is oh yeah, we're gonna offer you this much. It's no, we're checking in, but people freak out. So I just think that they already had a plan in place, and they were just going to be very frugal and very calculated with the money. And it kind of shocked a lot of people because of the how everybody else in the AFC East kind of moved.
Yeah, I mean, the way the rest of the AFC East moved was basically, it was a tortoise and the hare, except the tortoise never catches up in this case, it feels like. So I don't know what to do about it. But Kai, do you think there were any names in free agency that the Dolphins really missed out on that you think, man, that was one they should have gotten?
Before that, I'm so sorry. I just have to do it. I just want to address Juan's name. Love it. Absolutely love it. I noticed it. I literally noticed it in the middle of you talking, which is why I started laughing. We'll get into that, obviously. Love it. So here's the thing. I think that at first I was extremely upset with how everything was going, because as we got into it, and it's not just the three of us, it's everybody. Your main thought was you need to go into it and get someone for Tua. And as much as some people don't want to say that Will Fuller doesn't move the needle, but it at least gets you another thing where if Will Fuller is healthy, I think that the three of us agree the dude is a very good wide receiver. He can take the top off of a defense, and he can do a lot of things that would help the team, which would be great. And that's something you need. So getting that guy for Tua is good. The thing that I think was a wait and see is with Matt Skura. I really, really wanted Corey Linsley. Out of anybody that was out there, I wanted Corey Linsley very, very badly, because Ted Karras wasn't horrible. I think the thought that Ted Karras was horrible gets thrown around a lot, and I think it's very unfair to Ted Karras. I don't think he was horrible. The biggest thing for me is it's just and Matt Skura, according to statistics and everything like that, isn't bad and is technically ranked above Ted Karras. But Corey Linsley is just a dominant. You sign him to a 4 or 5 year deal, he will play 4 or 5 year deal out. And I wanted that so badly, especially for a young quarterback, to have that guy. And especially in the Corey Linsley, Justin Herbert and the Los Angeles Chargers are very happy that they have a guy in Corey Linsley.
I was looking at their offensive line. I think they have Bulaga too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and they just lost Mike Pouncey, right? Because wasn't Mike Pouncey there?
Yeah.
And then he just retired. So that's a pretty nice move.
You go from a very, very good center. Obviously, he was getting towards the end of his career. Him and Marquise both retiring at the same time. But him and Marquise were both very good centers, especially in their prime. They were very, very good centers. So to go from a veteran presence for your young quarterback to another veteran presence for your young quarterback is huge. And Corey Linsley is one of the best centers in the league. It's not this is a big name. It's no, this is one of the best centers in the league that Green Bay just didn't have the money to keep.
By the way, not to before you get into it, Mike, just have you guys seen that? I've seen different stats with Matt Skura, and
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he struggles to snap it, but once it's snapped, he's pretty good. I was looking at
he
his
had
numbers.
the yips, man. Like
he talked about it too. In his opening press conference, he talked about it.
Hold on. Alfredo definitely said it first on Twitter, but the yips are a term. Like that's not something.
For sure.
But he addressed it though. I think like in his opening press conference with the media, and you can find it on the Dolphins YouTube channel. Now, for anyone who hasn't watched it, he addressed that and he said, I had the yips, I had some snapping problems, but like Juan said, and even if you want to look at just raw statistics in terms of how he's ranked, not just by like I know Juan loves PFF. They have Najee Harris available at 70 on their draft simulator. By the way, Juan.
I haven't even looked at any draft simulator. I actually like PFN's better the draft
it's the best, and I'm not even saying that as like a PFN lifer. I just think it's the best. But anyways, so like even just off of PFF's other things, like Matt Skura is very good when it comes to blocking. Like he's a great if they wanted to go out there, not that they would move him to guard, but if he could do that, then you would say he's a very good guard because he doesn't have to snap the football. Like if you go out there and let's say like you draft a Creed Humphrey and you want to move him to guard for some reason, like, hey, it could work. Not Creed, but like Matt Skura, it could work. But after the snap, the dude is good. And he even talked about a lot of the things with Tua in terms of the pre-snap, post-snap, and how he wants to, be able to work with him and be able to see how he sees everything and relay how he sees everything and work together, which is great because we didn't really see. I mean, obviously Tua wasn't the guy when we came in to last season. Fitzpatrick was going to start, but to have your guy come in and say, no, like I want to work with him for the sole reason, obviously that's your job. You're going to do that anyways, but I want to know how your mind works and how you process everything. And I've been around longer. I can help you. No, you might be seeing this a little bit wrong and being able to help adjust the line. Having another veteran presence like that is extremely, extremely beneficial for Tua.
Yeah, I know for me,
I wanted Linsley.
Because we were talking about names that we've missed out on. You brought up Linsley. Juan's point that he felt like there was no one player that they missed out on. They just, kind of had a plan going into it. To me, I mean, I got to go with Juju. And the reason why I'm going with Juju is not because, I mean, I was high on him entering the process. I have no problem with
one of the best slot receivers in the game. Like, you don't have to explain yourself, man.
No, he's great. But like,
I've been defending him for all year. I mean,
to me, the reason why I really feel like they missed out on him was because that contract was doable. It's the contract that really bugged me because he gets 1 year, $8 million from Pittsburgh. And I understand that was a bit of a hometown discount. He was probably expecting more from the Dolphins, but you look at the options that he had, the reported options. Weren't the Kansas City Chiefs one and it was like 1 year, $9.5 million?
Yeah, with $3 million in incentives.
With some incentives.
The Ravens were.
They could have easily gotten that. And I understand he doesn't have the same speed as a guy like Will Fuller, because Will Fuller's all about speed, and that's probably what they really wanted to put their money at. But if you tell me I could spend the Will Fuller money on one of two players, and it's either Will Fuller or Juju Smith-Schuster, as much as I still think Will Fuller is a good addition, I give that to Juju every day of the week, no doubt.
You'd have to think that they were interested, like not just like kind of how Juan was saying that you do with other players, where you go, how's it going? Like I feel like it's kind of you would have to think that they were definitely interested. Maybe the sticking point, and even like I think that so many people hate the fact. I think there's two things. I think a lot of people hate TikTok, which is understandable, but I think that also on top of that, it's like they hate Juju's personality.
Bro,
you don't hate TikTok?
I don't really, I don't really
like,
care for his antics, bro. I think if you perform, it's like who cares?
That's so many people, and especially Dolphins fans who I've seen they were like, "Oh, can't have Juju." Look, man. You can't sit here and tell me as a Dolphins fan that you can't have Juju and his antics when you
have a power
begging.
Ranger.
Not only
you just re-signed Monkey D. Luffy.
Dude, and Matt Collins.
They were
so it's like
to re-sign Jarvis Landry at a contract that was ridiculous for what Jarvis Landry provided.
And honestly, I loved Jarvis, but Jarvis's antics were a lot more detrimental to a football team.
Penalty after penalty after penalty all the time. Yo, Juju go dances on the thing. Like, yeah, do I not like it? Do I think it's a little bit like disrespectful to the game? Yeah, a little bit. Is he giving me a 15-yard penalty and getting suspended for a game because of his antics? No. And he's one of the best slot receivers in the game.
Yeah, I think personally, I will say and just be firm on the fact that I prefer Fuller over Juju if it was the same exact contract.
I would as well.
It's just for me, Fuller is the type of receiver that he's basically kind of like a 3-level receiver. He'll run the deep stuff, he'll run the short stuff, he'll run the middle stuff. There's not much that he doesn't run. And the problem with him is just health, and that's kind of really why.
That's where, to me, I go one way as opposed to the other. I agree with you that Will Fuller and his speed do a better job of filling the need that the Dolphins have right now at the wide receiver position. Mm-hmm. But to me, and we talked about this last week, and we'll get into the entire free agent list, Juju is available. And my biggest issue with the entire wide receiver room for the Dolphins is availability. Whether it's Parker, Preston Williams, Albert Wilson, Alan Hearns, Isaiah Ford, Matt Collins, everybody seems like they're one moment away from getting injured. 19, who you guys don't want to talk about, Jakeem Grant.
Funny that Kai's wearing a number 19 jersey.
Yeah, that's true.
There's some irony there.
First of all, this is Evan McPherson, so
technically it's a college football jersey, so it's no players.
Well,
it doesn't belong to anyone.
Number 19, one of the best kickers in college football. But
I know you're not wearing a kicker jersey. Whatever. Before we get into the free agents, I do want us to go through and talk about each one.
Can I say something quickly about the Juju stuff?
Yeah.
What, you think I'm about to say something horrible? No.
I thought you were going to say something about kickers. Nobody cares about kickers.
Kickers are amazing anyways. So the whole thing with the Juju 1-year deal thing, and I think this is a great comment. Not only with everything like happening with what's going on with all this stuff, it's like the other thing that I think that a lot of people don't realize, and especially with the Juju stuff, is like he even said himself that he wanted to go and take time out to make sure that he could stay with Pittsburgh because he wanted to. And I think he genuinely showed, look, I wanted to stay in Pittsburgh.
The only reason why I'm against that, though, is, I mean, he'd been talking about the freedom, and there was a lot of things that got put out there as him not wanting.
Bro, he was on Twitch playing. Yeah. What game is it?
He was playing Fortnite in a Dolphins jersey, and he said the date I'm free. I'm sorry. There's no.
Yeah, I know, but look, this is the thing that he had continued to say, and I think, like, look, you have to give him the credit because he could have gone to KC for that deal that he had. He could have gone to Baltimore and essentially been a mercenary when it comes to happening there in like the AFC North and taking those deals. And 100%, like, Juju's going to get paid next year, whether it's the Pittsburgh Steelers or not. But if he had gone to Baltimore, if he had gone to KC, not only one does he have a chance to win a Super Bowl with either of those teams, more than he does with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't think that Lamar Jackson's that great of a thrower of the football, but he's damn sure better right now than Big Ben is.
But I also think it was a matter of the other weapons on those teams as well, where he thinks he has a better chance to shine. And he's
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. What I'm saying is he's trying to compete for his next contract too. That's why he takes the 1 year. Before we get into the free agent list specifically, I do want to address Justin's question. So he did talk about this, and we could address this at the end, but he was asked it now, so I'd want to try to get to it. Any chance the Finns sign an edge rusher before the draft? If so, who could they afford? Juan, you're nodding your head. No, what's up, man?
They can't afford anybody right now. We only have like around like 11.5 million available,
and we're only like 10 for the draft.
We need 11 for the draft, give or take, depending if we trade back and if we do a couple things. And I think
the number is 12.5 that's needed for the draft.
Yeah, so it's definitely there's some moves or restructuring. It could be Byron Jones, it could be a couple different players that you could restructure. I just think that I know we got off the wide receiver market, but I just think that outside of like, Kenny Golladay and Curtis Samuel, I think the overall wide receiver market was pretty terrible. It was just like a bunch of 1 year deals and a bunch of prove it deals to where I don't think most players really were happy with what was happening. And for Juju, it was more so like, let me just go back to what I know. And if anything, I'll retest it again. And plus the dude's he's like 24, 25, right? Like
24. Yeah, he's 24. He's not even like halfway to like, he's not even close to 25 yet, right? He's in the first like third of 24. Yeah. So I like the idea with him. On that Justin Cordero question, the one thing I will say about an edge rusher is if there's an edge rusher that approaches the Miami Dolphins, and I'm not saying they have any interest, I don't have any sources, I don't know exactly what's going on, but if Jadeveon Clowney showed up to Davey and told him, hey, I want to be a Dolphin, figure out a way to make it work.
Not happening.
The Dolphins will figure out a way to make it work. If Jadeveon Clowney says this, I'm not saying it's not happening. But if Carlos Dunlap, if they have interest in him and he wants to come down here, that's what I'm saying.
Last year for the Seahawks.
The Dolphins have a way to make cap room if they need to. There are players that they can cut that we've talked about here. They can release a player that shares a number with Kai's jersey. They can get rid of a player like Bobby McCain. I don't think that Clowney did sign with Cleveland because the last report from Adam Schefter was that he visited and left. Olivier Vernon is still on the market. That would be cheaper. You would just be one cut away. I just think there are moves that the Dolphins could make.
That.
I think Vernon might be more expensive than Clowney.
You said
you think
Olivier
Vernon would be
Vernon?
more expensive?
No,
Clowney, yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Clowney's burnt out, bro. Clowney's he's on his last legs right now. If he doesn't find a good spot that's gonna be able to kind of just
you're saying he's on his Cam Wake level right now.
Nah, because he's athletic. He's always been a player where he's more of a run defender, and he's always been trying to, project himself as this pass rush specialist or something like. But he's not. He's a run defender. And then for him, he's gonna try to ask for 10+ mil, and I don't think they're gonna offer him more than 5-6 mil a year.
No, I agree with that. And my point though was, and I think all of us would agree, if the Dolphins wanted to make room for someone, they can and they will.
Yeah.
So I don't think that the Dolphins are going to make another big splash. I would be surprised if they did. I think if they do make any more moves, I do feel like it would have to be at the edge because that's really open right now.
My thing is like the Dolphins for 2 years in a row, they've kind of used free agency to kind of I feel like pad themselves heading into the draft. They put themselves in a position to where they'll sign a little running back, they'll sign a little linebacker, they'll sign a little DN, they'll sign a little, little piece here and there, to where they head into the draft and it's like they're trying to mask their needs, but we still need a running back, we still need
a wide receiver, we would still like a center that we know for a fact can snap the ball. There's a lot of positions that we feel like the Dolphins need to address. And I think all of us would agree that free agency wasn't terrible, but they didn't hit everything we were all looking for.
They lightly tapped it.
Exactly. But let's start on the offensive side of the football. I know we have a graphic ready to go. So Will Fuller, Malcolm Brown, Matt Skura. Those are three of the names we got on offense. Three of the bigger names. That's not all of them. But we have to start with Will Fuller. That was the biggest signing the Dolphins made in this past offseason. Kyle, I'll let you go first on this one. Will Fuller, good or bad signing?
For the price you got him at and the fact that he chose to come to Miami or said that the Miami Dolphins chose him. Shout out Juan yesterday, by the way, at that press conference.
Hey.
Love to see it. Love to see the tweeting and everything. Thank God, Michael, that you finally realized your camera was out of focus. I was waiting for that to happen.
I noticed for a while. I just didn't know if to pull myself off and do it or what was going on.
It's whatever. You're good. But I think he said it himself. He said that Miami chose him. Miami's giving him the chance. And I think that's one thing that wow, I can't remember what number he wore, so I'm not even going to try right now. But the first names don't be deserved anymore. That's one thing that former Patriot Dolphin, now Patriot mercenary, is not thankful for. He was chosen, but whatever. In the terms where 53, that's what he wore. Sorry, brain. That's what 53 has issues with. I think that Will Fuller was a good signing. I honestly think that it was a very good signing. I think that the people that look at that signing and think to themselves that it's like a panic thing, it's like this is one of those guys that showed you not only in college but showed you in the pros that when he is healthy, it's going to work. And I think you heard him himself say, and he owned up to the PED thing. He's like, it's not going to happen again. It's a mistake. I do think that it wasn't intentional. I even thought that it wasn't intentional when it happened while he was on the Houston Texans, because we see this happen a lot now with receivers where they're going, and let's be honest, every single person, including Tom Brady, Mr. TB12, you have these supplements, and sometimes things, and you've had former players talk about it where
if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
No, but it's not even that. This is a serious thing. This is a serious thing.
He made a mistake. We're moving on. I'm not going to say he was blind to it.
I'm being 100% honest, because this is I'm not even this is a serious thing. This is things that former players have talked about. This is something that former players have talked about, where they mention one, sometimes your doctor says that yes, this is there, and sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't, and you can get screwed. And PED as the umbrella blanket of it, you think of PED, you think of performance enhancing drugs. All the time, people think steroids. They think about stuff, especially with baseball.
Wasn't there a deer thing at some point? It was like a deer antler thing that somebody was taking.
But there's a lot of stuff where it's listen, everyone is trying to get the edge above, but sometimes, you do have a doctor that will say that, yes, this does come off the list. And you know what, if you've trusted that person for your whole career and they've never been wrong, you're going to continue to trust them because that's the person you trust most with your body. So I don't think that this was an intentional thing. But Will Fuller, the signing in general, if he is healthy and he does not have Jay Ajayi knees, everything I think will work out fine. And I think he'll ultimately end up signing a bigger extension with the Miami Dolphins, because you can't look at the talent alone and truthfully tell yourself that was a stupid signing. You can look at everything else, But if you look at the talent alone and say that was dumb, it's ridiculous.
Now, I'm going to take this to you then, Juan, and, to kind of piggyback off of what Kai is saying, we have to take into account, one, what he does, which is a lot of 9 routes, a lot of fast plays. I know he does more than just 9 routes. I'm not saying that's all he is, but that's his bread and butter. He also deals with a lot of injuries. He hasn't been able to stay healthy. The 1 year he did, he was suspended for the PEDs. I want you to give me what we can honestly expect from him this upcoming season. Do you think he plays, I don't know, at least 14 games? And what kind of yards does he get? Or do you think he gets hurt and isn't able to do them all?
I think with Will, it's definitely it's more so it's not like he has like a recurring injury. It's always like these soft tissue injuries, like a hamstring, or he'll pull a quad, or he'll he'll get a concussion. Like it's not stuff that it's like, all right, you're having a continuing knee issue or stuff like that, right? I just think with Will, he's such a player that it's speed, bro. It's speed that has hands and that at 3 levels can attack you and can score at any point. Like you give him a slant, he could score. You give him a square and he could score. You could give him a 7 route, a 9 route, he'll score off of it. Like he's literally a player that at every single point, the free safety has to go, okay, where's Will?
Yep.
Will's over here on the weak side. Will's over here on the strong side. All right, cool. Let me focus on that. And then you build off of that because there's certain concepts that you can actually run with Will to where, like, yeah, you could run them also with 19, but I'm not scared that 19 is going to catch it. So with Will, you have that actual fear to where okay, this dude could burn me, or this dude could get it early and still burn me afterwards. You do bring up some fair points about his injuries and what he can really be expected to play. I just think that with him, it's also a long-term deal too, because I
like how he says that, and his Abby is Christian Wilkins.
Yeah, and also look what he's comparing him to: Will Fuller to DVP Williams and Gesicki. Yeah. Those are a different type of breed. He does
an entirely different thing that only Jakeem can do speed wise, but can't do with.
And then also think about the contract that we're kind of giving him right now. It's a 1 year, $10.6 million deal. But really, if he does good or we like what he does, he's gonna get franchised no matter what. That's minimum 15-16 mil next year. So you're looking at 2 years, 26 million? Like that's not bad for a player like Will. Like especially if he blows up with us, and then he wants to get paid maybe that 18, 19, 20 million. And now the cap is starting to open up, and then maybe he has a little chemistry with Tua. Then all right, cool. Now you got a long-term piece from a 1 year deal. So I think it's a win-win for everybody.
And I will say, this was brought up by Carlos. He says Parker, Williams, and Fuller are all going into a contract year. 2. I think Parker still has some, but Williams
I think it might even be 3.
Williams is going into a contract year, and then Fuller as well. So they're going to be motivated.
I don't even have.
But I just want to be clear. I'm not counting on Preston for anything this year. I think with Preston, I think it's been 2 consecutive years with finishing in IR, and I think as much as he's the unicorn and he can make some really good plays with Tua, counting and expecting anything from him is dangerous and will lead us to again go out in week 17 trotting out Isaiah Ford and Malcolm Perry
So then if that's the case, and I don't disagree with you necessarily, and we'll move on to the other free agents. Again, this is about free agency. You've got to look at maybe trading Preston Williams then now. And I know the value's not high, but if what you're telling me is you can't count on him later in the season, they're not going to re-sign him.
No, but look, you go into camp and you say, hey guys, battle it out. There's 5, maybe 6 spots.
Yeah, but hold up. We all know.
Go fight it out.
All of us follow the beat writers, and we all know that Preston Williams kills it in training camp.
Oh, for sure.
That's not a question.
But he also
come out of training camp as at least the number 2 receiver.
But he also kills it in game. I think that's the thing that we understand. Listen,
take some time.
Preston was having a pretty good year, a pretty solid year where we were looking at him and at least saying like there's a little bit there where if he continues to stay, and then he got injured.
Outside the Arizona game, bro,
it wasn't horrible.
No, and he was like that the year before where he started off really slowly, then he had a really decent game. I think it wasn't the Ravens. It was someone else around like week 5 or 6, and then he got hurt again. He has like a blow up game, and then he gets hurt right after.
He's good for an outlier game. He is 100%. He's an elite talent. Like he has traits that
if
other
he could
players
keep it
do not
together
have.
for sure. None of us have that faith.
Healthy.
Yeah.
Now last year we could all say is not his fault. Like the year before, I think is his fault. But last year, like
I don't even know.
I don't think it's ever your fault. I don't think it's ever your fault.
Yeah,
but that one, like Christian Wilkins,
like okay, the only time I'm going to say,
real.
if you're telling me it's like a quarterback scrambling and he refuses to slide, at that point I'm going to say,
like
okay, you were making a mistake there. But something else,
shake money.
Fins
I completely agree with that. Let's go. I completely agree with that.
You know what? I do want to. I want to get to this specific. You know, let's just get to it now. He paid the money. We'll get to it now. Pitt's at 3. I'm not for it. Not at 3.
That's because you're a Gator hater.
No shot. It's because I think Pitt's at 3 is too high. I appreciate the Dono Shake money. I think Pitts is a fantastic talent. I don't think Pitts is 3. I think you can trade back to 7 or 8 and still get him if you really want him.
I think that if you set up your draft board and Kyle Pitts is your second, your third, your fourth, whatever rated player, and you're at your spot, and that's the number 1 player, you draft.
Hold on a second. You just said he's the second, third, or fourth player. I don't think that's what he's going to be.
First of all, he's the most talented player in this draft.
I think 100%.
No,
100%,
Mike. He is
the most talented player in the draft.
Talented player in this draft.
He is the biggest freak in the draft. 100%. There is
nobody
else.
Like people have been calling him Mike Gesicki. Like I'm sorry, and this isn't coming from a Gators point of view.
I love you, Dusty. But you said Preston Williams equals Kyle Pitts, and I will just never forgive you for that, bro.
Who said that? Wait, who said that? No. Wait, what?
No, it wasn't on the chat. This was on Twitter like a couple days ago.
Oh, yeah.
Listen. If you go back and I take act as if I don't have a Gators jersey on right now, because I will admit.
But the moment I say anything against Kyle Pitts, you immediately go, it's because you're a UM guy.
Because I've had so many UM guys where I've seen their freaking bios and it's like, oh, UM this, UM that, and they're like, Kyle Pitts is just Preston Williams, and they don't know anything. Literally, if you turn on the tape of Kyle Pitts, and I say this, I promise from the bottom of my heart, I swear on anything that could possibly swear on. If you turn on the tape and you legitimately watch Kyle Pitts play, you will understand that not only is he a dominant tight end, but as CK and so many other people have said as well, he would be a top wide receiver prospect if you looked at him as a wide receiver. He is one of the most, if not the most dominant players in this draft, and nowhere close to what Mike Gesicki is.
Look, okay. Mike, I'm not going to sit here and try to convince you. I could care.
It's not going to happen.
Bro. I think what my ultimate point with Kyle Pitts is if he's going to be your number 3 player and you're at number 3, and the first 2 guys have already gone, don't get cute, bro. Don't sit here and be like, let me trade back to 7 and pick up a first.
I'm not trying to stay at 3 at all. I'm not trying to stay at 3 at all.
3 is house money. 3 we shouldn't have even had.
Exactly. And I want to turn house money into more players.
Nah, dude. You got to get elite talent. You got to get elite talent eventually here, bro. Like you have to, man. Like eventually it can't be.
So you're telling me at 7 or 8? You're telling me at 7 or 8 you can't get elite talent?
I'm saying if my elite talent that I'm choosing is Kyle Pitts, I'm not going to trade back from 3 and play with.
And
it.
I just don't think that's what it's going to be for them. I don't think they're going to.
It probably couldn't. But here's one thing I will say, and one thing that does play to Kyle Pitts' strength. He's 20 years old, and think whatever you want about the Dolphins, but they are 100%. An ageist organization. Like they do not like you.
Well, you're not going to be on the next press conference.
They do not like you if you're past 30. Like that, you're 30. It's like Papa, chopping block, bro. We got to talk. And he's 20 years old, bro. They love drafting guys like that.
If you ask me right now, and I had the choice between Kyle Pitts and Jalen Waddle, personally, I'm taking Jalen Waddle. I'm not saying Kyle Pitts is a bad player. I just think Jalen Waddle literally could be another Tyreek Hill.
I'm just letting you know you're drafting for need, and that's how GMs get fired.
Drafting for need. So drafting a player that could be the next Tyreek Hill is a problem?
No. The way you're
saying could be. They're looking at Kyle Pitts and they're saying this is an all-pro.
There's never a player
They looked
any
at Quentin
draft,
Nelson and they said this dude is going to be a Hall of Famer, first team All Pro, and that's exactly
you
what
pointed out.
he
Quentin
is.
Nelson. You want to know how many players we can point out that were drafted top 10 and were bust?
But that's not what. No, what?
Yeah,
people,
but there's
what
certain
scouts
freaks.
No.
say,
But
the topic of no.
There's certain
the
freaks.
topic of Kyle Pitts is that in 4 years,
and I
he is a
guarantee
LeBron baby. He is a LeBron baby. He was born with a six-pack and a ball in his hand.
Just like everything in life. Just like everything in life, you can search for things and click on the links that tell you the story that you want to hear. All I'm saying is Kyle Pitts is not a 100% guarantee. Is he maybe more sure to hit his ceiling than Jalen Waddle? Yes, but do I prefer Jalen Waddle because I think he fits the system better? And I'd much rather have the speed at wide receiver? Absolutely. That's all I'm saying. We got off on a Kyle Pitts tangent. Shake money. I appreciate the dono, but this is all your fault, my guy.
Kyle Pitts has a higher floor than Jalen Waddle.
Agreed.
Sure, and I think he has a higher chance of reaching his ceiling.
So if he's a safer pick, if he's a safer pick, and he's obviously a more elite talent,
so you're gonna tell me GMs no? So you're gonna tell me GMs get fired for drafting need, but they don't get fired for taking the safer pick?
We're saying best player available.
No, I'm talking about Juan specifically on what he said.
No,
what did you say?
I'm saying best player available.
You told me
Kyle Pitts is the best player.
No, shake his back. Wait.
Think about it.
No, stop talking about this topic. Shake. Appreciate it. I'm never gonna find a dono. If that's what the people are paying for, that's what I'm gonna keep talking about. Other topic, think about it. One of the offensive co-coordinators is the tight ends coach. I understand. Here's the thing.
Had the best year for a tight end.
If they draft Kyle Pitts, fine, and I'm gonna hope the best for him. I have nothing against Kyle Pitts. I really don't. It's just my personal preference is Jalen Waddle over him. Just like when everybody was on the Devonta Smith train, and my personal preference then was Jalen Waddle over Smith.
Formation-wise, think about the Dolphins, right? The Dolphins want to be a power-oriented team. They want to be able to go out there with the big uglies and move you down the field. So 2 tight end, 3 tight end sets. You put Kyle Pitts out there with Gesicki and with Will Fuller and maybe Devontae Parker there, dude, that's mismatches across the field, bro.
I understand. Well, I mean, what you're telling me is only the lineup we're going to have for the first about 3 weeks, and then one of those wide receivers will go down, and then somebody else will have to fill in. So we're going to be looking at a different line. But I agree with you. Kyle Pitts is going to be a great prospect, and I think he'll probably be top 10 tight end really soon by his second year in the league. I just prefer Waddle.
I will end my Kyle Pitts thing here, but this is not off of like being a Gator fan. And Carlos, bless up. But when people, in terms of the people who are in the know, talk about Kyle Pitts, the saying that has been said the most is, at least by the 4th year that he is in the NFL, he will be a first-team All-Pro. You don't talk. Let me speak, Michael.
No shot,
Michael.
No
when
shot.
People were talking about people like Quentin Nelson, the same thing was being said. Different position. Nobody looks at every single top 10 pick possible in the world and says, without a doubt, unanimously agreeing, said player A will be a All-Pro in the future. I understand there is definitely not a sure thing ever. But as Juan said, the floor for Kyle Pitts is above literally every single player in this draft. The dude is an absolute mismatch and a freak. Right. He is one of the, if you want to say it on that, Michael, but the rest of us who are in the real world will say the most talented and most likely the best player in this draft. Football player is all I want to say.
And
you want to move on? We can move on.
If you're gonna add to it, you let's just move on.
So you get final say. You guys get to decide who has final say.
Because you're wrong.
There's no shot. There's no shot. What you're telling me is that because some people think he'll be an All-Pro by his 4th year.
No. Not some. This is unanimous. This isn't a some thing.
Every single thing. Every single scout that you can talk to is 100% sure. They're like, 4th year, he's going to be a first-team All-Pro. Is that what you're telling me?
I think there's less warts with Kyle Pitts as a prospect. Listen, that's my only thing. No,
here's the thing. You guys are taking me saying it's not a sure thing he's going to be a first-team All-Pro by his 4th year.
You guys are
taking that and saying, oh, you don't like him as a prospect. You can like him as a prospect and admit that no NFL draft pick is a sure thing. I'm sorry, that is literally impossible.
Michael,
It's not. You've never seen him play in the NFL.
I'm fully on the
look,
Cowboys train right now. Please, I do not need your negativity.
He is a Canes fan. That's why he hates it.
I know what you're gonna say. We're gonna watch.
But nobody looked at Kellen Winslow Jr. and said that he was a sure thing.
Oh my
no
gosh.
one looked at Kellen Winslow Jr.
You
and said
read
that
every single scouting report on Kellen Winslow Jr. when he came out back in what was it, 2002?
Listen, right, but no one looked at him and said, "Oh, this is the guy. This is the sure thing, no matter what."
We're gonna move on. You guys are right now caught up in the train and the Bowman and the last train that a lot of us were on. Derailed harder than derail. Okay, your jersey tells you that you're in the moment, but the last train that specifically the gentleman beneath me was on derailed hardcore. So let's move on and get back to the free agents, right? Let's do that. So Malcolm Brown,
Shake Money.
Appreciate Shake Money a ton though. It was a fun fight, honestly. Malcolm Brown, they signed the running back. Does that excite either of you? I think he's just another guy to throw in there, but I don't know.
I think, like I said, it's just kind of like padding the positions that you're going to need to hit on the draft, just in case you can't hit on them. Which I refuse to believe if we don't hit on a running back in the draft. I think that's a colossal mistake. It would be impossible for me to think that's okay.
Sorry, wait, I'm gonna cut you off. I don't know if this person changed their name because I said I'm gonna talk about whatever the money decides, and now there's somebody in here called Cash.
No, it's been that way.
Okay, and then they say boo because we moved on. But sorry, I'll just keep going. I just think it's hilarious. Sorry, keep going, Malcolm Brown.
Yeah, no, I think it's just a little stopgap. I mean, he's a cheap little contract, one year, 1.175, I think, or something like that. Mm-hmm. Nothing crazy,
I mean, his stats last season were 101 attempts, 419 yards, 5 touchdowns. He did play in all 16 games, which is a bonus. I mean, for any running back, even if they get a little bit of carries, that's still a good thing. I think he's just another guy. I think right now we have the highest amount of number 2 running backs on any given team. Kai, do you think any of the guys we have on the roster right now are going to be the starting running back going into the season?
No shot.
Okay. You think it's going to be a drafted player? I agree with that. I think it's going to be a drafted player.
Thank you for elaborating, Kai. We really needed your expertise there, dog.
I'm real mad about Kyle Pitts.
Let me ask you. No, so let me ask you, because my thing right now is heading into the draft, right? Everybody's going to know Najee's floor is 18. Unless the Dolphins trade back, Najee will not get past 18. Yeah. I would San Francisco could take Najee. Arizona could take Najee.
That's something that Omar Kelly's been harping on as well.
People can jump us for Najee too.
And then all of a sudden, let me tell you, if a team jumps up ahead of the Dolphins and takes Najee, boy, let's just say Twitter will not be fun, because a lot of people are living and dying on the Najee train, and I'm just saying
some unpopular opinions. Then there's this running back class and running backs in general can be interchangeable. This running back class is pretty good, at least in the top 50 that you could pick from in the top 50 of the NFL player draft pool. Edge rusher is more of a need than running back right now. So
I just don't think there's any. This edge rush class is not the best. And this is where my whole is going to back off a little bit, because I'm saying that as two of the top edge guys. Two of the top edge guys are from UM, and I think they're going to be decent prospects, but I wouldn't feel comfortable taking them 18 or higher.
Don't a lot of people not like Gregory Rousseau?
Well, Gregory Rousseau is tough because
he's raw. He didn't really.
He didn't play this last year.
Mm-hmm. Jalen Phillips, he got more of the spotlight, and he kind of really developed like physically. I've seen when he first jumped into UM till now, it's pretty impressive. And usually when you see that type of growth from a player, like physically, you can kind of project them to do something in the NFL. And I've seen actually a lot of people say that if there's a boom or bust player, it's this dude right here from UM, not Rousseau. I forgot his name though. Jalen Phillips, right?
I think they're both pretty boomer bust though, because the thing with Rousseau is Rousseau came in, wasn't super touted. Like they were kind of excited, and he just blew up onto the scene 2 seasons ago. Was getting a ton of sacks, and then he sat out last year, so that you haven't seen him in a year. And against certain competition, he didn't look great. And then Jalen Phillips was always hurt at UCLA, so the edge class worries me a little bit. If I'm at 18 and Harris is there, I take it and run, no doubt. I would just take it and run. I'm not going to be upset if they pass on him, But if we go into the season with our number one running back being Javonte Williams, unless Javonte Williams is out of this world amazing, I will be upset that they passed on a running back. I'm not saying he's bad, but who would you rather have, Harris or Williams?
I think it depends on who's at 18 and who I can value, really. Because if we sit there at 18 and are like, yo, we really like Zaven Collins, it's like, dude, that's like
that's a linebacker from
that's like what's his that's what's his name replacement, and then at that point you're like, damn, well, let me just take him, and then I'll see what I can pull up at 36. Or
that's where all of us said if we had signed a running back.
Well, let's not act like there are still some.
But the thing is and I think the biggest guy that we missed out and we didn't even have the opportunity was obviously Aaron Jones.
AJ,
and they probably would have signed him, to be honest.
And let me tell you what I was reading and it was being reporting with Cam Wolf is the last offer before it got serious with the Packers. They were only offering them $9 million a year, which was like franchise tag money right around there. So the Dolphins were going to come in with like a $10-11 million offer, but then the Packers kind of read the room and were like, okay, well, let's just give him the 12.5 and let's just be done with it, And I think that is one name that we probably would have gone after pretty hard.
Kai, I want to give you the next offensive guy, unless you wanted to add on the running backs.
I do. I mean, we're going to talk about Matt Skura next, is what I'm guessing, correct?
Yeah, just because you were really excited about Linsley.
I mean, like, I think we touched on the Skura thing. I think it makes more sense to just head on over to the defense, to be honest.
I agree.
I think we touched on Skura pretty well.
What about Ethan Carter, guys? Tight end?
No, anyway, so the defense. These are the defensive additions. Via Juan. I mean, Juan's by far the greatest graphics maker in the entire world.
Yeah, I love the white. I love the white space all around.
A white border.
That's not even when we bring it up.
Oh my guys, relax.
You're good. Did you? Never mind. Anyways, so Bernard McKinney that we acquired via trade, Justin Coleman, and Adam Butler. They were talking, or Lawrence Guy was supposed to visit, but he's now apparently agreeing to a 4-year deal with the Patriots to stay. Mm-hmm. I think we should start with like Bernard McKinney, right? I mean, this is one of those guys that you're kind of filling up one of the needs at linebacker. I still think if you get a chance to get a guy like a Zaven Collins, you absolutely jump at that chance. I saw this comment and I think it's perfect as well with the from Cash saying the D is pretty much set. I think we all agree with that. And then we see one linebacker go down and we instantly want to shoot ourselves in the foot because we realize that our linebacking core is going to be.
Well, we re-signed a Landon too. And then we still have
you get me too. Like,
yeah,
that's kind of the stuff. That's what happens with the Dolphins. We feel like we're fine, especially at linebacker every year, and then someone gets injured, and then we have Camu Guger-Hill trying to chase down a running back.
I'm gonna throw a little bit of respect Camu's way though.
Camu played for sure,
pretty well, considering he signed for special teams. But yes,
right. You get me? Like that's just a name, like the guy that wasn't supposed to be starting.
It's if they lose Baker that I'm really worried because none of these other linebackers can cover, not a single one.
Yep. Yeah. So I think Bernard McKinney. I think I love the trade.
Bernard is okay. Like he can't cover like he'll cover better than a Landon. Let's just leave it like that.
Sure, but that's not. I mean,
a lot of linebackers can cover a lot of better than a Landon.
Not saying much, but
Philip Wheeler covered better than a Landon, and Philip Wheeler was a bust.
That name hurts,
bro. But you get me, like, you bring that up, dude. Oh my god,
Phillip it's like you have McKinney and you keep Landon Roberts. Those are guys, especially in the run game, that are going to help. So much. It just having those two there, that would be great. As people are saying, look, it's like we already know, like we know.
Yeah, I know he's not here to cover. I'm fine with him not being here to cover, but if Jerome Baker goes down, he's gonna have to cover.
Punish.
The next guy is looking like he might be covering for Nick Needham if he doesn't step up.
That's it. Coleman, that's the interesting thing, right? So I don't know if we really have. We touched on Bernard McKinney a lot last week. I don't know if you guys want to, because I think Justin Coleman's the one to go to, because we didn't really touch on that last week, obviously, and because it hadn't happened yet. And then on top of that, it's like that's one of those signings where it's kind of like a low key, like this could be a very good signing for the slot and to play in that nickel role. And it's kind of telling you're going to be restricted free agent next year. Nick Needham, hey man,
step up,
step it up. You had a great first year,
hey, superstar.
You got a really bad second year. You got to step it up, and it's legitimate competition. Like Justin Coleman is legitimate. No, we're not saying that he's outstanding, but like he's legitimate.
at his prime, he was one of the top slot corners in the game. He got paid handsomely by the Lions. They obviously regretted it because of the whole, Patriots coach Matt Patricia and all that mess. But yeah,
don't bring it up. Don't say stuff like that. This is a very we're not gonna. I think this is gonna suck, but I think I speak for all of us when I say this.
We'll just address it because it needs to be.
I think I speak for all of us when I say this. This is a very touchy subject with Deshaun Watson. Making jokes about stuff like this, whether things have come out to be proven true or false, however you feel about it, making a joke about a situation like this is disgusting, where none of us are going to stand for that. If anyone decides to put a comment like that again, you will be blocked completely. You won't be put in timeout. So we just want to get through with that. I think we all agreed that we're not going to talk about this until more stuff truly comes to light. If you want to hear us talk about it on our own, you can go out there and listen to our shows separately, because I think we've all talked about it a little bit on our shows. So let it be how it is. Anyways, we can continue.
I would with Justin Coleman. I would not. My thing with Justin Coleman, I wouldn't be shocked if he didn't make the team. I also wouldn't be shocked if he was our starting slot corner.
I can understand that.
And that's not to say that I don't know anything, because
Noah and Nick both had really good.
If Noah and Needham step up, you know what you have with Needham. And yes, Needham has had some low moments. Needham also has been pretty good during stretches. There was good stretches of last year where a lot of us were thinking, okay, Needham might be the answer to the slot corner, where you should look at his contract situation. He had the terrible game against Buffalo, but I wouldn't be surprised if Needham comes in and he's terrible in camp. And so then, Coleman comes in and takes that spot. But I also wouldn't be surprised if Needham played really well, and then
he gets motivated.
Noah plays really well, and then Coleman is just gone. They give him 1 year, $2.7 million contract. That's not a deep investment. So that's just it's one of those things where I think it's going to be one or the other. I don't see them paying him to be on the bench for that kind of money. I'm not saying it's a lot, but if he doesn't make the team as your starter,
you're right, because if he breaks camp week 1 as a player on the team, he's guaranteed the money for the whole year. So it's 100% either he's going to take the slot spot from Needham in camp and Needham is gone, or Needham's going to step up, just kill it, and then he's going to be gone. He's going to be gone in camp.
Yeah, I just don't think there's a middle ground with him, which is just going to be really interesting to watch. And what was the third name we had on defense?
Adam Butler.
Adam Butler, defensive tackle, decent replacement. Well, I mean, fun fact, Devon Gottschalk got paid more money up in New England than Adam Butler did down in Miami. And Adam Butler, statistically speaking, has been more productive.
Adam Butler
so
is probably also better than Devon Gottschalk, if we're being honest.
No, I agree with you. I think Adam Butler is better than Devon.
No, I know. I'm just saying, I'm just adding that in there. Raekwon also got paid by the Patriots.
But I think we got to bring up what 3YPC said. I mean, is the
I was just about to say that. Yeah.
The rotations are going to be interesting with Wilkins, Adam Butler.
I wonder how they actually. How did they sell him on, 300, 400 snaps for the year when he's probably going to want to play a considerable amount of time to earn a bigger deal in 2 years when the cap is going to go stupid crazy. It's interesting to me. It felt like maybe they were planning to do something else, or maybe they're going to kick Wilkins outside or somebody else. It seems like there's going to be another move there.
I think someone's going to be moved out. I think somebody's going to be moved.
It's probably going to be Christian.
And I do think it'll be Christian Wilkins. And I think part of that will be because, they didn't sign an edge. Maybe they felt like, granted, I understand Shaq Lawson and Kyle Van Noy were outside linebackers, but you have to be able to set the edge when it comes to the running game. And your outside linebackers are not going to be able to do that. I think Christian Wilkins might be the best bet there, but I think Zach Sealer and Adam Butler might be able to do it too, because they brought it up on 3YPC.
Too, bro.
Exactly. So if you guys had to pick one to bump outside and become a full-time right end or left end, the opposite of Ogba, because Ogba's left end, isn't he?
It depends, because it's weird. They're kind of like a 4-3-3-4 depending on what they start off with. It could be AVG and Ogba with their hands in the dirt, or it could be AVG and Ogba with standing up. I think as far as down linemen, I think you could probably put in Christian outside and maybe have him be kind of like a Richard Seymour if you're thinking like Patriots. And then you have Raekwon in the zero position, which is like Vince Wilfork, if you want to think about it.
He's going to be that gap stopper.
I think that's perfect too, because remember they even tried putting Raekwon on the outside and it wasn't working. And once like
he's too big of a body, like bro. I've gone so much tape into Raekwon, bro, and I've seen so many times where like he'll literally smash a pulling guard and destroy the play just by outmaneuvering him, bro. Like he's such a monster.
I loved that pick. I obviously Flores loved it. You saw it in the video and everything like that and everything. But I remember leading up to the draft, my coworker was really big on Antoine Whitfield Jr. And then I started to watch his tape and I was like, holy shit, I want this guy very badly. But I just kept saying, dude, I want Raekwon Davis. Like the dude is a beast. Like that's what he is. He's just a beast.
I was so excited about Winfield though. Man, I really wanted him.
I wanted him really bad too.
And he goes and he embarrasses Tyreek Hill on the Super Bowl. And I was like, we could have drafted him. Oh,
so let's be fair though. Let's be fair, because Tyreek, the reason that was done to Tyreek is because Tyreek went for 269 and 3 TDs. So
I'm 100% fine with it. Because it's fine when he does it when he's running into the end zone, but it's after the play you can't do it. Now get out of here.
That was whack.
Let the defense be a little proud. Other names though that the Dolphins did sign, probably not as well. One, Jacoby Brissette. That's not. I'm okay with Jacoby Brissette signing though. I like the stability at backup quarterback, and I think it's better than having Ryan Fitzpatrick and the I don't know, the closer situation. I know Juan talked a lot about that.
I hate that freaking reliever closer situation. That is like my biggest pet peeve if I've ever had to point one out with Brian Flores. Like, bro, that you drive me up the wall when I hear that stuff, bro. Because it's like, this is not baseball. I don't watch baseball. I don't want to watch baseball. Don't compare it to baseball. I'm watching football. If you have 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. That's what I've known for life, and it just to me, it's with Brissette, is just he's such a stable guy to where he doesn't have necessarily an ego to where he's trying to push for the starting job. He's more so, I'm going to teach you, I'm going to help you grow, I'm going to help you nurture you, and hey, listen, if you can't do it or you get hurt, I can step in and I can 100% play, and he's shown that a couple times.
Yeah. So that was another signing that we didn't get around to talking about. Let's see another one this time. Hey, Michael Pilardi, he's a punter. You're a legs guy. What do you think of Pilardi as opposed to Hawk? I doubt you've really watched a lot of Pilardi tape. That's not really the thing.
I have not. I definitely want to, and especially because I've been learning a lot. Like, okay, I have been learning a lot on how to kick because I like kicking myself. I can kick about 45 yards. Just saying, it's pretty good for a 270 fat guy like myself. Just saying. But I've been learning a lot more about it, and I like to very specifically listen to, obviously I like the Pat McAfee show, but he was a very outstanding punter. Like Pat McAfee was a very good punter. He was a kickoff specialist when it comes to the
Wasn't
game.
He the punter for the decade? I think he was.
Yeah. So he's punter of the decade for the 2010s. He was an outstanding punter. Like if down the line, because of the fact that it will happen, like probably eventually when he's probably not here, but as in terms of a specialist, if there's a specialist that gets into the Hall of Fame, like he eventually will, because of how good he was in the kickoff game, in the punting game. Just Adam Vinatieri should be like a first ballot Hall of Famer in general, just saying on another thing. But those two guys worked a lot together, and they've talked a lot about it on like video and everything. And I want to look at some things of Pilardi because he's pointing out a lot of things, because a lot of people have now been calling in and asking him on his show.
He's a left-footed punter, right?
Yeah.
And it's with our team in lefties.
It's the same thing, though.
It's a Patriots
thing. But even the left-footed
like
punter is huge. It's
like a theory.
Thing.
There's like a theory behind it that they can hit a different spin and
it's 100% different. It's way harder, and you don't have right-footed punters to practice against when you're in that punting and you're doing punt return practice and specialist drills. It's huge, and it's a huge advantage. But I want to watch more tape on Pilardi, because being able to watch tape on him and being able to look at him a little bit more, knowing and learning some of the stuff I'm learning about right now from Pat McAfee and like just watching his stuff will make me get a better idea of it. I think in the long term, he'll be better than what Matt Hawk would be or would have been or is. Not that I didn't like Matt Hawk. I liked Matt Hawk a lot. I just think that, when you look back at it, and I've looked back at a couple punts, I do have to agree and concede, though I think the dude kicks a hell of a ball. Mm-hmm. He is inconsistent. And
in the cold weather, especially, he had those problems. And so hopefully Pilardi doesn't have those. Other guys that they signed, they signed Brendan Scarlett, Duke Riley, 2 outside linebackers. They also brought back Vince Beagle, Landon Roberts, Matt Collins, and they signed Robert Foster. They've made some smaller moves, but nothing.
Robert Foster is one that's
noteworthy.
really interesting when we really think about it,
because he's another speed guy, and he actually played with Tua.
Yeah, that's another really big thing. These are two things. So I do want to point out just on the punter side of things, since when it comes to like actual NFL stuff, I'm starting to learn more and everything like that. The ball does spin differently. It is.
So then you have to think that this gives some merit to the Tua throwing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Tua throwing left-handed was weird for the receivers, which might explain some of the drops.
A lot. And then field position, yes. And it's the thing. Again, it's like I don't think anyone could look at Matt Hawk, and obviously you don't want to watch punter tape, like no one wants to watch punter tape. But if you look at it, you see the dude punts a hell of a ball. The only issue is that sometimes it would be inconsistent. It comes off the side of his foot, it'll do this, and there's a lot of things that contribute to that. It could be the snap, how it snaps specifically. It can affect a lot of things, especially the year prior. Though I think the year prior, when it was Peppers, I can't remember his first name right now, who's now the 49ers long snapper, I think it was a little bit better because I think that we saw a lot from them where the punting team and the kicking team was better. So
sorry. Listen, King Wrong, I do Dolphin stuff too, man. Like,
he's multifaceted, bro. Put some respect.
Yeah, come on. I watch other sports. I mean, I'm getting used to all the others.
Yo, listen, put that one up. I'm dying.
Vucevic played football. I'm kicking Matt Skura out of there. I'm putting him at center. 100% putting him at center. Have you seen him make some of those passes? Vucevic makes the one-handed passes. Thank you, Alex, for bringing that up. I'm Vucevic all day. Vooch me, man. I love it. But before we go,
Scott said is right there. By the way, it's like he kicked a hell of a freaking ball.
Can I ask you guys a question real quick? It might lead us on a tangent, but how do you guys feel like with the Dolphins free agency overall compared to like the rest of the AFC East and how much they got better? Because I think every single team.
The Panthers are playing much better. What is it? Bobrovsky has come up. He had a bad start to the season. Good. He should be the starting goalie now. Those are my Panthers takes. I'm happy that the free agent signings worked and one of the better teams in the NHL. So there you go.
Go to Kylie Ray.
Wow.
She knows more. I'm not saying I know everything.
And
Kylie
David
knows way
Dwork.
more than me. Yeah.
I love listening to David because I'm learning a lot about hockey. To answer the question though, fuck Alex Toledo.
Why you gotta say it? You lost us some money, dude.
No, it's not even. That's not how it works, dude. This is the other thing that like Matt was telling Lewis last week, and I was like, yes, that's not how it works. But anyways, like to answer the question, I'm not really like that upset with it. I feel like a lot of people are super upset with it, but I think what we've shown so many times before is like we've had these situations where we are the Patriots. Think about it. Like we've done that and spent all that ridiculous money. And then we go out and a lot of it falls flat. When you look at a lot of the stuff and a lot of the money that the Patriots paid for a lot of these guys, let's be real when we talk about this. I think the dual tight end, especially with Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith, is going to be great. I think the disrespect on Jonnu Smith's name has been horrendous.
Listen,
bro.
I don't
Hunter Henry is extremely
and I don't understand why people don't get that for Cam Newton, whose arm is not the same as it has been, to have two very talented tight ends is going to open up the door so much for him, where I don't think Cam Newton's going to go have a Pro Bowl season, but Cam Newton is going to have a way better season than he did last year because those two tight ends are huge.
I have been for a while on the train that the Patriots are not going to stay out for long. This free agency told me that Bill did not like seeing Tom Brady drunk celebrating a Super Bowl without him. So
throwing the trophy over the river.
But think about it. There's a lot of like when you really think about it, and I like that. I like this because I've seen a couple people, some here at 5 Reasons, that think that Cam wasn't the issue last year. So hilarious.
No, Cam absolutely was a big issue, and his arm is dead.
When you look at all the stuff that the Patriots did, and when you really look at it, and you don't do what like everyone else does, and not here at 5 Reasons Sports because we actually care and look at the analytics and stuff, like the best signing that the Patriots had, and the one where you look at it and say that that's probably going to be a for sure signing, is Matt Judon.
Yeah, I love that one.
Besides that, like Jonnu is great, but if there's no one to throw the football to, then Jonnu's not great.
No, David but I like Aguilar. I like Aguilar is a good
but that's another thing where like you could look at Aguilar and say the same thing about Will Fuller.
I hope he has the same hands he had in Philly.
Yeah, that's the one with the Raiders.
Yeah,
it's the same sort of situation.
So I get what you're saying with the Pats, right? But the Jets got better for sure. The Bills got better
all
for
the teams,
sure.
Of all the teams in the AFC East, the Dolphins
Like-
improved the least.
Yo,
Like
Mitchell
the Jets-
Trubisky's the quarterback in the AFC East. That's gonna be great.
I listen. I love that move just in case. You never know. They ended up taking Matt Houck from us. I think that's a plus for us, not for them, but that they might think otherwise. I like the Emmanuel Sanders signing. And listen, Jacob Hollister is a good tight end, and the only reason they ended up going with him is because they just didn't want to send a 3rd round pick for Ertz. But hey, they almost had Ertz. Could you imagine having to deal with
Bills?
Ertz? Yeah, the Bills.
Yeah, they also offered Rob Gronkowski a 2-year deal.
Yep. And then the Jets too. The Jets with Carl Lawson, Corey Davis. I like Keelan Cole, Jared Davis.
I hate to say it out loud, but the Jets had a really nice offseason.
Bro,
It literally kills me.
LaMarcus Joyner, Dan Green. Yeah, bro. They had a lot of good signings, and I think if I get it, right? Like, who cares? Like, it's about the Dolphins and what they sign. But if you're not keeping an eye on the rest of the conference, I think, or the division, you're doing yourself an injustice, because you're going to see them 6 times next year, and those are going to be crucial games.
And I would say the Bills had the closest to a Dolphins-like offseason, where if they did have a better offseason than the Dolphins, and I think they did. It's just by that much, because the Bills didn't do too much, but the Jets and the Patriots are just way ahead. So when the thing that a lot of people aren't understanding is when people feel down about what the Dolphins did, and personally, it doesn't really excite me too much. My issue is you saw the rest of your division really improve, and now a team that was sitting there second, I'm having a hard time seeing getting past third, unless all these players do improve the way we see they can, right? Tua needs to take that step. Wide receivers need to stay healthy. The offensive line needs to improve. Defense needs to be able to do things outside of just getting Xavier Howard's interceptions. All these things need to happen for the Dolphins to stay in the 2nd spot in the AFC East, and that's a bit disheartening considering all the hopes that we were coming into the offseason with. So free agency isn't necessarily behind us. There are still moves that they can make, but there were some other pieces of news that came out about the Dolphins this past week. Kai had one he wanted to talk about, and Juan, his name gives that one away, but we'll start with Kai's first. Kai, you wanted to touch on the failed. I mean, it was a failed trade, but not really.
Yeah, I think it's to get it quick, and I think shout out to Finn's Doc, by the way, for the $2 dono. Thank you so much.
Hey, listen, Finn's Doc, I'm with you. If they do win, let's go. I'm in.
No, I was saying win prediction post free.
Yeah, he wants us to predict what each team
we'll
will
have one after the draft. After the draft, for sure. We will have one out there.
We can do one right now. Just give it a quick number after free agency. Right now, the way the team's constructed, I'd just give a number for wins.
No, he's talking about just in general.
17 games.
And we also don't know 17 or 16. We'll have one after the draft.
I say 9. I say 9 wins either way.
Okay.
You think 9 or 7 or 9 or 8?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So. Anyways, so I think it's kind of the same situation that I touched on with.
I will say 9 and 8 too. Sorry, just because he's asking again.
Yeah, just because he paid the money. And now I'm gonna mute both of us, and you can go, Kai.
Oh well, I was gonna say. So I'll give one as well. Just really quick, since we said I'm gonna go. If we're going 16, I'm gonna go 10-6 again, and I think that they make the playoffs. That's what I just want to say. If it's 16 games, if it's 17, I think it'll be probably like 11-6 or something. Anyhow,
yes,
it's kind of the same situation with like the Watson stuff, which again we don't want to really touch on it. But with Isaiah Wilson, I think the biggest thing for me, and this is off of like just seeing other NFL players who go through it, and I think we all like to make a mockery of it. Not like I'm saying the three of us, but like people like to make a mockery of it, right? And they like to go around things and they think it's funny and stuff like that. And I guess you can understand it whichever way you go, but this is a dude, and it's the same thing with like the Kanye stuff is the best way I can compare it. So many people love to look at Kanye West and laugh, and they think it's hilarious that this dude is going through clear mental breakdowns and clear has these personality disorders. I mean, the dude literally released an album where the cover of it was "I love being bipolar. It's like crazy" or something like that. It's like, or "I hate being bipolar." Superpower. Yeah, and it's like this is literally like he is going through stuff, and people think it's hilarious. And I think some people have looked at this Isaiah Wilson stuff and it's like, oh well, this is just another guy that failed thing and this and that. And I think, yeah, for sure it's a failed thing, and yeah, there's a lot to it, but this is a guy that clearly does not have his head on straight, that clearly is getting the wrong advice from the wrong people. And when I look at the situation, I look at this stuff and I'm just like, man, like this is a guy where, come on, we have to try to anything that anyone could do to help him. And I understand that he denied help from the Dolphins reportedly. Obviously, there's no confirmation the Dolphins haven't come out and said it. He hasn't come out and said it. It's all reported that he denied help from the Miami Dolphins. But someone has to try to help him, because this isn't just a situation where it's like, oh, this dude's going down.
And he needs to accept it. He needs to accept help.
He had a DUI last year. He had issues with COVID. He got arrested driving way above the speed limit. Like, someone needs to go there and help him, because this isn't a situation where, like, oh, this guy's going to end up like a Delonte West or something where they could hopefully help him. This is a situation where this guy could potentially end up either murdering somebody while driving, or he could end up dying himself.
Yep. And I don't care if they cut him. What was it? I mean, a week or two after they made the trade, I still have no problem with the trade at all. When you look, regardless of whatever's going on with his life and he needs help, the Dolphins swapped 7th round picks. They didn't even give up a 7th round pick. It was a swap.
The trade was null.
Yeah, for some people, and I'm just kind of going along with what Kai was saying. For some people to be there, oh, what a wasted pick, what a terrible move. Look, they did what they thought was best. It was a swap of picks that doesn't really mean anything because it's 7th round picks, and they were trying to help the guy out. The reports are that he didn't want the help. You hope that he starts accepting it and starts heading down a better path before anything happens to him moving forward. So, with the Isaiah Wilson stuff, we talked about it 2 weeks ago. We said we all liked the move. Hey,
I still think it was a great move.
I'm still good with the move. Things went a little bit sideways.
Potential.
He needs to get some help.
It was just tough overall, because I also tried to look at it from his point of view, and I guess imagine like just being done with with your job completely, and you're going through Twitter and you find out you just got traded to a different city, and you're like, for
nothing, for a guy who's drafted 29th overall, they didn't give up a pick for you.
And let's like also look at it from the point of view of like, okay, like if he was struggling in Tennessee and Nashville, what the hell was he gonna come do in Miami? It was a tough fit for me, just logistically speaking, and what he kind of needed to be kind of like, not necessarily like incubated, but like he definitely needed some help, and it just didn't work out.
My hope is that he has a Darren Waller type of rebound, where a lot of us know kind of the story behind Darren Waller. He was an addict. He was kind of at his lowest points, and then he got back into football. He started getting better. He asked for help. Right, he received the treatment he needed, and now you're looking at a guy who's absolutely dominating out there on the field. And Isaiah Wilson can be a dominant player. Like, he had the traits. It's just he needs to find a way to get it together off the field. And if he doesn't want the help right now, I hope that he starts accepting it sooner rather than later. And that was what Kai wanted to talk about. That was like one of the big Dolphins pieces of news. This one isn't really necessarily about the Dolphins, but if you look at Juan's name, it doesn't even say Juan. Juan, just let it rip, man. What you got to say?
Honestly, I just saw the conundrum going on in Twitter land with Calvin Noy's powerful comments, but all he really said was no comment. I don't really care for it. I think with Calvin Noy, it's like, he is a little bitter, he is a little salty, obviously.
Yeah. Sorry, I just saw Kai's tweet, so
I didn't even see it yet.
Yeah,
I'll look at it later. Yeah, look at it later. But I just think with Calvin Noy, he's just he's salty, and he kind of looked like he's gonna be a little motivated to play against us. If he's healthy enough to play those games, we'll see.
And
but
half a sack.
I mean, let's hope he doesn't have a 3-sack game. The 2 that he gets a year. Maybe let's hope that they're not both against.
He has to be like he has to.
Calvin Noy.
Oh God, Kyle Van Anoyed. Oh man. Love that.
That is fantastic.
Put up the tweet.
Listen, you know what? I don't have a problem with KVN being mad though. Like, straight up, I don't have
every player needs a little motivation.
I would be upset too, though. Wow, you really gonna do it?
Yeah.
You're really gonna do me like that?
Yeah, I'll put up the tweet.
Listen, I just don't see a nuclear blast. I don't see a crazy explosion. I see a very talented receiver, and I'd rather have Jalen Waddle, but that's where we're at. You got big mad about
KVN,
it.
Hold up, KVN for real, it has to be the saltiest player in existence.
He has to be the saltiest person in the world about $15 million guaranteed. By the way,
he comes down for 1 year, makes $15 million, goes back.
He lives in South Beach. I saw him doing a Pat McAfee interview with his top down, bro. Like, you chilled. Like,
it was
a vacation.
he loved every second of it, and you could tell in his Pat McAfee stuff that what he was saying was legitimate. He loved being here. He loved Coach Flo.
So then you're just making the case for him being mad.
He's like, oh, I don't like anything. Everything down there sucks. Blah 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 blah.
Okay.
Texting Pat McAfee on the side saying, "I'll tell my story eventually." Get out of here, dude.
No. Time out. First of all, you're making the case for him to be mad by saying
he didn't play up to snuff, bro. This is the NFL. It's a business. Bye, yada yada. Outskis. Like what? I don't understand what
he played exactly how he's always played
for that money.
You decided to pay him that money, knowing exactly what you had,
and you had an out. It's a business. It is what it is.
Exactly. I'm not saying the Dolphins were wrong for doing it, but he felt wrong because I am sure
that's salty,
Cash, I bring up Cash's comment because I don't think it was that nobody else wanted him. I think he wanted to go to New England to play the Dolphins twice a year. 100%. That he's on the petty right now.
To a place where they felt good about it. Take money again. I'm salty about they cut Kyle Van Noy. You can't replace leadership, and he played with the second youngest team. Expect him to play like pro level. Listen. If you were thinking that Kyle Van Noy was going to come in here and get you double-digit sacks, you were dreaming.
He's never done it.
No, obviously, no.
I understand that he could have played better, and the contract was a lot higher than his skill level deserved. But the plan was always for him to come in here and be a leader. He got mad that they cut him early. You can't blame him. This is just like any relationship. If you're happy in a relationship and you're having a good time and they dump you, you're going to say to the next person, yeah, that person was terrible. Or are you really going to say to that next person you're dating, yeah, we had a great time. They just dumped me. And so I decided to come be with you. Come on.
I mean, I know someone who recently is dealing with that and is not in the mind that you're thinking and is in the other mind, but not in an.
Listen, as the Dolphins, as the dumper, whatever, dude, go do what you want to do. You're out of my life. I didn't want you here. If you want to be salty, stay salty.
Thanks, Shake Money, by the way.
Yeah, appreciate you, Shake Money. But at the person that got dumped, I understand why he's big mad. He had a good time down here, and I liked his leadership. I liked him as a person. I watched him on Twitch.
Great guy. Great. That's the thing. I think like the issue with me is coming from like you could be. Imagine with Devon Godshaw. They essentially told Devon Godshaw, even going into the year without telling him, there's nothing you can do that will make us re-sign you. We are drafting someone who already is more impactful and skillful than you are.
Yeah.
And you're gone. And he's just going to wing like, I'm excited.
And we knew that about him.
Kyle Van Noy is going.
I just think I think they signed him in the intention with Mike, like Mike was saying about leadership and stuff like that. And if I'm him, I'm looking at it. Yeah, no, I know for sure. But if I'm him, I'm like, nothing has changed. Like you guys haven't had any other veterans come in that are gonna take the spot of the veteran leadership. Like
if you told me they cut him because it was like, hey, we got another outside linebacker, another edge guy that we're bringing in. They literally cut him because we said we'd rather not have you at all.
Yeah.
So I mean, look, he's upset. It happens. I mean, look, he got it in the news today. It hit people's timeline. And everybody's a fan, right? And I understand. That's why we all react the way we do. Like if a player doesn't sign down here, we say, well, I never wanted you anyways. Like that's just.
I don't know about that.
Oh,
that's the
for me.
I still want Aaron Jones.
What? Yeah.
Yeah, listen, I still want Aaron Jones. I still want Corey Linsley. I still want Juju.
Kenny Golladay, Babytron? You still think he's Babytron?
That one was a stupid deal, though. I gotta say, the Giants are idiots.
Let's address this right now.
Okay, that was a really good
Look, I'm gonna just say the agent of 2021 is 100% Kenny Galladay's agent. How he pulled off a 4-year deal is beyond me.
$72 million. A lot of guaranteed money.
I think that the Giants front office was following Juan on Twitter. He kept throwing out Babytron and all this, and they're like, wait. He's another Calvin Johnson. Let's sign that guy. That's what it was.
Let's just say this.
Exclusivity told me, bro.
If he goes out there and balls out.
No eyes, though. Exclusivity, no eyes.
Yeah. No,
just
but
like
look.
Talent evaluation, no eyes. Oh, snap. I'm talking about you, Juan. I'm saying just like his talent evaluation, he ain't got no eyes.
Oh, eyes. I thought you meant. Yeah, anyways. That was a terrible joke.
Michael, every time, dude.
Are we gonna wrap this up? We're at an hour 15.
Yeah, we're definitely.
Mike planned for 45 minutes, and I'm like, bro, we're gonna be here for a while.
If we were here for an hour and 15 minutes.
Cash is right, bro.
Better try.
You better get a royalty check from the Giants.
Matter of fact, Aaron Jones too, bro.
Is there a finder's fee? I think there's a finder's fee you can apply
There's
for.
Gotta be.
I'm gonna start looking for this.
Just
Maybe
do it after you do your taxes.
I'm gonna start sponsoring these players. That's what I'm gonna start
Wrap
doing.
it up.
Yeah, but we're wrapping it up. Next week we're gonna start talking about draft stuff. So the draft board, honestly, it really hasn't changed much. I thought it would change at least slightly with what they did at the agency. I feel like
Cal Pitt's running 4.46 changed the whole.
I'm gonna wrap this one up by myself. I really want to say thank.
Yeah, right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. All right.
All right. No, straight up, we will have an entire half hour next week to talk about Kyle Pitts. I will give us an entire half hour. I will sit down and watch a bunch more Kyle Pitts film, and we will talk about it at length. Okay, if that makes you guys happy. Until then, thank you guys very much for watching the XG This has been a fantastic episode. Don't forget to check out 3 yards per carry. That should be coming out tonight on all your favorite podcast sites, and tomorrow again on all your favorite podcast sites. If you could get Vontae Mack, I'd take him. He's a fantastic
Kyle Pitts,
edge.
no matter what.
No, if you could take Vontae Mack, listen, go watch Draft Day. Great film. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Samurai Radio, at Exclusivity, at Michael5RSN, and you can listen to all of us on Onside Radio. Appreciate it. Go have a good rest of your night, guys.